Dun 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 dun. No, no.
Free use, free use. We're singing it, so it's parody, I guess.
From ClarkWoods.com, this is Horribly Off Topic, episode number 232. I'm Chris.
And I'm Steve.
And it is the premiere of the it's Sunday as we record this.
Sunday.
No,
I mean, that was enough. The 3 Sundays.
3 Sundays.
Yeah.
Did I do one?
You did one, and then I did another, and then you said it 3 more times.
Oh, I can't count.
Oh.
I failed math. No, I didn't fail math. I mean, I almost failed English. That's the lore, you know, is how did your creative writing teacher almost fail English in 12th grade? And the answer is Barry Hazard.
And samesies for your brother.
Yeah.
I did not have that gentleman
yes.
for English. I had Mr. Carpenter, and he was just a gem of an individual.
No,
although he was very much against Phil Collins for some reason. Like,
well, who isn't?
No, I mean, it's weird. Like
he's a Peter Gabriel fan.
I don't know. I think he was just, when he was railing against pop music, because he was an older gentleman. Yeah. He was railing against pop music. He was railing against Peter Gabriel and Genesis, and like he
Phil Collins and Genesis.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry, Phil Collins and Genesis. Weren't they both in Genesis, though?
They were, but
not at the same. Well, they were at the same time.
They were at the same time, but I'm guessing, and maybe Mr. Carpenter also hated Peter Gabriel, but generally speaking, people who hate Phil Collins and Genesis, there's an element of love for Peter Gabriel in that hatred, because Peter Gabriel was in Genesis when it was more of a prog rock band, and he was seen as the one with talent and the one that left early, and so
and then we got Susu Studio.
This is
true. Or was that solo Phil Collins?
Susu Studio is solo Phil Collins, yeah, as is the one where he sees the guy drown, or so it's said.
Okay.
I'm not trying to say anything bad about Mr. Hazard. I'm just saying I almost failed his class. I didn't, but I almost did. And I think we've talked about this before.
I want to go back to Mr. Carpenter's hatred of Phil Collins and or Genesis.
That's fine. I just wanted to wrap up the Mr. Hazard thing and say that I was not trying to disparage Mr. Hazard. He is one of my favorite instructors, and I feel like I wouldn't have turned out the way that I did as a scholar with not in any other ways. I don't want to blame him for
just letting everybody know. Chris did not put scholar in air quotes.
I didn't. I should have. Put it in
I don't know.
It's scare / air quotes. All right. So anyway,
scare quotes.
Scare quotes.
Is that like when, like on Halloween, when you're putting things in air quotes?
No, people use this. We were using this in a meeting this week, and that is. I mean, in certain academics circles, scare quotes is what you call that. Right, that you're doing that to add emphasis, and I don't know if they just heard air quotes from somebody else and they decided that it just transformed into scare quotes at some point. But scare quotes was a thing that came up in a meeting the other day, which was not Halloween. So I'm just gonna say that. I want to hear about Mr. Carpenter. I wrapped up my Mr. Hazard thing so we could talk about Mr. Carpenter.
No, but like the weird part about it is, and like the reason why you suggested that he would dislike them is because like he was more into prog rock. I doubt that was the fucking reason. Okay. So I don't know like why like this particular like pretty bland. I mean, after Genesis, like rocker, and in like even in Genesis, it was like it was stuff that if it was on the radio, it would be completely inoffensive.
Yeah. Well, what about Jesus? He Knows Me? That's pretty offensive.
Do you think that's why?
It could have been. I don't know. Was Mr. Carpenter a religious person?
Religious? You could have said religious fella.
Fella. I don't know. Somewhere in there was folk, and fella was not coming out, so I went with person. I could have ended up with Ferson if I had to stop myself, and that would have been bad. He is
as far as I know, he is not a furry, and I don't know if furries were things back then.
Oh well, they might have been. They were certainly things, but they didn't have a name.
Yeah, like,
everything was a thing. It's just when did it get its name?
We were watching a bunch of '80s cartoon openings on.
I'm gonna write that down. That seems profound. Okay, go ahead.
We're watching a bunch of '80s cartoon openings on Thursday instead of playing Dungeons and Dragons because we got to a certain point of just conversing where if we had started, we would have not been able to do much of anything. Mm-hmm. So we basically just watched things on YouTube for an hour or so. Okay. After that point, and so Thundercats was one of the things that was on.
Thundercats, ho!
And I think it might have been Dave. Well, it could have been. Could have been anybody but me. I think it was Dave.
Okay.
Because I think it was a male voice that said it. Not that I was just like sitting in the room with my eyes shut. But from what I recall, it was Dave that it was saying. If it was John or Gina or my wife, then I apologize to all of you. But yeah, I think it was Dave that said, I think this is the show that kind of launched what is now being a furry.
That is interesting. The show that launched 1,000 furries.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that down too. You think it's that and not anything?
You could bring it back to Helen of Troy, which is your favorite person that everyone wanted to bang. Apparently,
well, I mean, my main character in my novel gets to. Do they bang or do they just? No, I think they see this gets into the territory of what counts as a threesome and what doesn't. I believe I've heard some people nitpick and say that in order for anything to be a threesome, all of the people need to do something with each other. So if two people are just performing sexual acts on one person, but then never do anything with each other, that is not a threesome. That is a gangbang, perhaps.
So what if it? Well, no. A gangbang would infer that there's a gang of folks, and if there's only two, I don't think that's a gang. So two fellas and one gal. I mean, like their interaction could be a high five as their.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. I have read an interview or listened to an interview somewhere where somebody was trying to make the case that in that scenario you just outlined, if the two fellas don't also do something together, it's not really a threesome.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, and at any rate, if
it's three people in like having sex, like threesome.
Okay. Well, anyway,
like regardless of gender or whatever. If it's three people that are enjoying each other's company, regardless of if they interact or not, the thing.
So you're saying that Jack Tripper and the two ladies, whichever two ladies it might have been at any point, were always having a threesome because they enjoyed each other's company. I mean, that was the name of the show.
I was trying to not like delve into like explicit sexual actions.
I just talked about. I'm not delving into explicit sexual action. I just talked about Jack Tripper.
Yeah, Chris, please.
I
think the one exception would be if like somebody was having sex with somebody else and the other person was watching and perhaps jacking off or masturbating or whatever. I think that I would exclude that.
Okay. Well,
from a threesome because there's somebody that's not participating with anybody.
Okay. At any rate, Helen of Troy and the main character of my next book do have sexual relations with a fella in one of the chapters. So
spoilers.
Yes, sorry, I just spoiled my own book. Don't read it. So the show that launched 1,000 furries was how we got off on that tangent, and I just wonder, were there any others? I mean, you know, where do the gummy bears or the Care Bears, the My Little Ponies, where do these things?
Well, like My Little Pony, I don't know. Were bronies a thing before the reboot?
That's a good question. I mean, I went to birthday parties in the early 80s as a boy. And enjoyed the My Little Pony birthday parties, you know, where I'd hand to Rachel or Lilia or any of the other girls who invited.
You're gonna bleep these names? These are names of children.
But I didn't. They're in their 40s now. I didn't say their last names. Whoever, and maybe I made them up.
Oh, Your imagination is taking flight with names like Rachel and Lily.
No, Lilia.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, that actually would be a little bit more original.
Yeah. Although I can't, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if Rachel ever did invite me, the Rachel that I'm thinking of, invite me over to her birthday party. I feel like I went to at least 2 or 3 girls' birthday parties where there were My Little Ponies, and I was a boy, and I didn't mind My Little Pony.
You are still... So, oh, wait. Are you? Do you consider yourself a man now?
No. But okay. That's a whole other subject.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, no. So I mean, was I a brony in that scenario?
No.
Okay.
I think to be a brony, I think you have to self-identify
as a bro.
As
a brony. Okay. All right. So you can't accidentally be a brony.
No, I mean, if you are, I think if you're a person that is a male, that is a dude or whatever, that enjoys the My Little Pony reboot, which I think is when that culture emerged. You could enjoy it, but still not be a brony.
Okay.
I think if you're just like a person that likes the show casually, but I think when you start getting into a fandom and then going to conventions and whatnot, I think you become you sort of level up into being an actual brony.
Okay. I am looking this up.
What are you looking?
Adult men call themselves bronies. They are not what you think. They're not overly effeminate. Many aren't gay. They aren't predatory or even being ironic. They're just guys, dudes who like My Little Pony. Now let's see. Does it? Okay, so it talks about it as if it did happen with the reboot. So back in October 2010, near when My Little Pony Friendship is Magic premiered, a few people, likely guys who stumbled upon the show or were first forced to watch it with a daughter or niece, posted on the 4chan boards that the show was actually quite good. Okay, so that's
but you never want like the nexus of your story to be from 4chan. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's yeah. I don't know if I've ever actually been.
Don't.
I'm not going to. No, but that's one of those ones in my brain, and somebody who actually likes and uses Reddit will probably write in here. But Reddit was and 4chan were things that were like linked in my brain.
Reddit is there's bad shit on Reddit.
Yeah.
But I do not. It is not equal.
It does not.
It is less than
4chan.
Than 4chan.
Whatever happened to 3chan or 2chan?
I think they do exist. So you made a joke, but
I made a joke, but there wasn't a joke, and really wasn't a joke because it. Wow. Okay. There were other ones like that I lumped in all together. Eventually, I did get a Reddit. I became a Redditor, I think is the...
Do you have one now?
I do, yeah.
See, I don't. I just go, but the only reason I go on there is to occasionally go on the One Piece Reddit.
Okay. Well, I go on... and I signed up because most of what was appearing on the front page I didn't care about at all, and I wanted a slightly. And there was more than just one. Where like the One Piece one is the one.
Yeah.
So there was.
Although there's plenty of like just terrible because there's whenever. And I think Brian and I talked about this when I had mentioned I went to Reddit sometimes, and he went there and he'd be like, every time I go there I regret it because like it's sometimes can be decent conversation about like maybe the current chapter or whatever, but sometimes it's just dumb.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
I don't want to say sometimes. It is most of the time dumb conversation. So like, but like it's good, because I'm like probably about 2 months behind on the One Piece podcast. So like,
right.
So when news comes out, it's a place where I can be like, oh, there's a new poster for the One Piece movie that's coming out this summer or whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So the number of things that I am. Sort of. No, I'm not saying you're obsessive about One Piece, but the number. I
would say that I am. Like okay. I like. if there was, because like I think what is it, Anime Boston, like they used to have it at the same time as PAX, which just happened a couple weeks ago,
Right, yeah.
but now I think it's at a different time. If it was like if it was streamlined to just being about One Piece, I would consider going. But like,
Right.
there's so much like just about like people that like anime culture that doesn't quite jive with me.
Got it.
I mean, there's I don't know.
No, I think I know what you mean. It's the same. I mean, I think that may be why my number of obsessions has kind of gone away. So when I founded Geek Force 5, the website I ran for a number of years,
My exceptions. Well, I don't know what the fuck I was trying to do there. You can edit that part out if you like.
nah, I don't feel like it.
I'll just leave that shitty part in, Steve. Thanks.
You know, because now it became a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so when I founded Geek Force 5 ages and ages ago, it was founded on my sort of 5 obsessions at the time. And when I look at and eventually I wasn't as obsessed with those things, so I kind of changed the lineup, and then the lineup whole thing went away. But
what were those initial 5?
Initial things were Apple.
No. You need to list them. Number 5.
Well, they didn't have a ranking.
Just give them a ranking,
Right.
Chris.
Number 5,
Yes.
Apple. Number 4.
Number 4.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Spacey.
No, not Kevin Spacey. Although at the time, because I didn't understand anything that he'd done, I was a fan of Kevin Spacey.
Number 3.
Number 3 was Marvel Comics.
Marvel Comics. Oh, it's weird how that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Well, it's more like Marvel movies now. I don't think
Yeah,
a whole heck of a lot of comics anymore.
That was the thing. Is at that time when it first started. Had Iron Man come out yet?
What year?
2000. Was it 8?
Yeah, that was around the time the Iron Man film came out.
There were no. I must have started earlier because there were some. They were just starting to show stuff about Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk. And
which was the Ed Norton one?
Ed Norton one, okay. Yeah.
Which is I've never seen that movie.
It's oh, sorry.
Got some dog in your food.
No, I got a throat thing. You've
been eating too many gags.
The Incredible Hulk is
serviceable.
Yeah. I think that the first half hour of the Incredible Hulk is, and I've written articles about this. It's just about the best possible version of the 70s, 80s TV show. Like if you took that and then gave it modern computer graphics at the part where they used to have to transform Bill Bixby into Lou Ferrigno, but you took the pacing and the music and the whole sort of aesthetic of that show, which I really dug, they made a movie out of that. But that's the first half hour. And then the next hour to hour and a half is okay. It eventually turns into a very muddy CG fight in Harlem. Not as muddy as some other things, but it's definitely not up to what they would soon be doing in other films. But I think it's a decent film. It is sort of brain scrambling in a way because it's the only one where Ed Norton plays the Hulk, and that same character is now played by, including the backstory, is played by Mark Ruffalo. And it's kind of like, could you just put Mark Ruffalo in there and then it would make, I don't know. Somewhere down the line, 20, 30 years from now, somebody's going to make, when computer, like the ability to put people into movies is
yeah, I'm sure Ed Norton will love that.
I'm sure I'm not saying it will be a professional thing. And I think it will be a long time before it happens because it's probably like way down the list of something that somebody with this skill would want to bother tackling. But I think a hobbyist would do it, not the actual studio. But there are people out there who their whole hobby is restoring and recutting and doing things with the Star Wars movies,
like the original trilogy, like taking those. I think I think it's on Laserdisc. You can get like a full screen version of those first three movies, I don't know if they have a widescreen one of those first three that is the highest quality that you can have of the original movies without them being completely fucked with,
I remember going not all the way down the rabbit hole, but slightly down the rabbit hole once of people who did this. And so they use the laser disc. And then they also will use certain, I think, is this right? I think they will use certain shots from the 4K or 1080p at the time DVDs or Blu-rays where nothing was really done to it, and if they can find that, and they might take bits from different. It sounded very obsessive. So I'm saying Star Wars is something where there's that level of passion. The Incredible Hulk is not where there's that level of passion. But I feel like I've seen advances in 3D. There is motion capture data out there of Mark Ruffalo that, somebody could hack it or whatever. And certainly there are programs out there where you can...
I'm gonna hack it!
You can already kind of put together a fake Barack Obama. So... I think
just need to get was it Jordan Peele?
Yeah. Is it Jordan Peele? It's not the.
I think the video that they did with Barack Obama was Jordan Peele doing the voice of Barack.
Got it. Okay. At any rate, so we got horribly off topic.
Thank you.
I don't remember. I don't think I could do it even if I wanted to. My throat did that weird thing. What the hell were we talking about?
I don't know, but I want to bring up one of the things that I've been watching recently, and I don't know if Becky's gonna want. Did I bring this up last week?
I don't know. I don't know what you're about to bring up.
I've been watching this guy on YouTube talk about the differences between the English translation, the initial English translation of Final Fantasy VII, and the Japanese version.
I don't think you did talk about this.
So yeah, he's been playing through the game. He's around my age, and played it when it first came out, like right after he graduated high school. Same as me. Samesies. But then he moved to Japan, became fluent. Moved back. And now I think he played through it in Japanese in like 2017, and he's been making these videos ever since. And so he's almost done his video series. Okay. But it's funny. Like I really enjoy it, but it's like to a normal person might think it's boring.
But
I find it to be somewhat interesting, and there's just some sort of I've hardly learned any. I don't think I've learned anything except for Yarrow, which is basically bastard, and just like the way you just put like something, attach it to Yarrow, and then that's like say you're a writer, so I would call you like writer Yarrow. You're like writer bastard or bastard writer. But as sort of like
those little Yarrows.
Yeah.
That's the title of my first book.
Yeah, just change it and like market it in Japan.
Maybe I should do that. I'm redesigning the cover. Maybe I'll have to pay somebody to do a
translation. Well, we'll call at 108 on Twitter is Tim Rogers is the guy. I'll give him credit. If you guys are interested, check it out. It's on Kotaku. He does a very very in-depth, like, because it's mostly just disc one. Because the reason why he wanted to do it was like I think something at the very end of disc one.
Okay.
And so the entire, like, there's been a couple of lines that he's spent more time on than anything else. But it's interesting. I find it interesting.
Okay. I remember now.
But I don't know how the hell he got that Twitter fucking. He must have like been on day one, got like at 108.
That is, yeah, that's a, well, it's like the people who have, I don't know. There are people who have Twitter handles I would have loved to have had, and they came on board after I did, but I was dumb and I had Little Bastard to start, misspelled, because it had to do with my website and my my book at the time, which, you know, people had probably been trying to tell me for years, like, why did you? And it was because my first website had been misspelled because you couldn't have that many characters. It's a long, dumb story that nobody cares about. And so thankfully in 2014, I finally got rid of all that stuff. But by that point, you know, all the good names were gone. I remember we did not wrap up the loop. The other two things that were in my Geek Force 5. Number two was 9 Inch Nails.
Oh.
And number one was Lost.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How the times have changed.
This was February 25th, 2008 was the debut of GeekForce5.com.
2008. So yeah, Lost was still on. Like.
Yeah. Well, Lost was, let's see, what season was about to start? Spoilers was when Michael came back. So whatever season that was, he was the man on the boat.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I did not. Fourth season. So,
you know what's weird about Lost, and I think this is because it never did. Because I don't know why I'm having trouble saying this. I don't know. I don't know if
it just upsets you so much.
No, it doesn't upset me. I just think it was fine. I enjoyed it when it was on. I was less than thrilled with the ending, but there aren't too many endings that I like that have come out recently that I've been like, this is fantastic, and I think Breaking Bad has been one of them, and I can't think of too many others. And so it's Sunday. Game of Thrones is on tonight. It's not the finale. It's just the beginning of the finale.
The beginning of the end.
Yeah. So like, who knows? Maybe this will be in the Breaking Bad category and not like the Lost and Dexter category.
Yeah. So I want to get to Game of Thrones, but what were you going to say about Lost?
Did it ever end up in syndication?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I think people might have forgotten about it because it's not a show that lends itself to being in syndication.
Yeah, well, and I mean, also by the time it was wrapping up, it was on Netflix, and it was maybe
that's another thing. That's
Netflix,
why I'm like,
whatever thing. There's a lot of shows that probably will never go to syndication because. Why?
I know, but like it's not often a series gets to. Like, I think the syndication threshold was 100 episodes.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if that's been lowered in recent years. I think all the only things that are in syndication anymore are fucking Seinfeld and Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, well, I mean, like MASH is still in syndication. Things that have always been in syndication.
Yeah, Simpsons, like know.
Although. So Disney the other day had a bunch of announcements, and they announced that every season of The Simpsons will be in the new Disney streaming app in November.
The problem I have with and it was on like FXX or their streaming service. The problem I have with that is that they put the older episodes in sort of like an HD format. And so they cropped the bottom and the top of older episodes so it would look like it was the right aspect ratio.
Yeah.
And
that's not the way to do it.
You just have the black bars on either side.
I wonder if Disney will have the depending. I assume they have all the masters or whatever. I know that when Disney does its old cartoons, it does not do that. Like if you bought them on iTunes or whatever, and you bought the Brave Little Tailor, you got it in 4:3.
What about the Brave Little Toaster?
I don't think I ever owned the Brave Little Toaster, but I
did. Was that a Disney product? I don't even know. I think it might have been. I think I saw it on the Disney Channel.
Yeah, I think it was. If it was distributed by Disney, if it wasn't straight up Disney. But that was interesting. I didn't think about that as one of the things that Disney was getting.
Because Fox.
Well, I was just thinking about them getting the movie studio. I wasn't thinking about them getting TV, but yeah, of course, they also get TV.
So does that mean that Fox channels are going to be less fucking shitty as far as like right wingy?
No.
Was that not part of the deal?
Part of the deal. Yeah, they had to divest of the of the Fox Sports channels and Fox News.
Ugh. So that'll still exist. Great. Okay. But what about like Fox?
That's what
like
I'm not
local
sure
Fox stations.
That's what I'm not sure about that.
Because I think they tended to lean a little bit more right because of Rupert Murdoch.
Because of
the parent company, yeah.
Fox News. I don't know. I know they had to get rid of Fox Sports because they already own ESPN.
Yeah.
So that would be anti-competitive, right? And then the news.
Yeah, but they also own their own fucking movie studio, which picking up another movie studio. So that rationale.
But there are still.
There's still NBC Sports, so like there's so.
No, but there are still other movie studios as well. And NBC Sports was obviously not enough for them to go. You can have both ESPN and Fox. They said no. But with movie studios, there is still Universal. Who else? Paramount? Yeah, Universal,
I don't know.
Paramount. Sony.
Sony, they put out some quality product.
Well, and Sony and Disney have a relationship on the Spider-Man properties.
Oh, cool.
But it's neat to think of them. I don't know, and also the Disney service is going to be. Is it priced at $6 or $7?
I have no idea.
They just announced it, and so I really thought that's a kick in the fucking balls to Netflix. Is what it is.
Why? Because they just raised their rates.
Yeah.
No, but so they'll have The Simpsons and Disney movies and shows. I'd imagine
they'll have every single Disney animated classic on day one. They'll have all of the Star Wars movies.
Will they have Song of the South?
I don't know if they'll have Song of the South. They will have the Marvel movies as they are able to get the rights back from various distribution services. So, once the ones that were on Netflix come back, they'll be there, so on and so forth. They'll have Marvel, Star Wars. They have tons of original content, including a Star Wars original.
Will they have shit that we watch, like the fucking shows that we were watching, the openings we were watching, like DuckTales and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers and that shit?
I don't know. That part I'm not sure about because obviously, well, I don't know. It seems like they're putting
the Michael Eisner era of fucking Disney on television.
I mean, they might. I got. Let me.
The Wuzzles.
Disney Plus. Where is it? Okay, Disney Plus.
The Gummy Bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
November 12th, 2019. That's not the announcement. Maybe. I don't know. It's $7. $7.
Wow, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. So I don't know. There is. Let's see. I don't see any DuckTales-y stuff there.
I mean, it's definitely worth at least 1 month the next time Becky wants to have another one of her Disney movie marathons.
Yeah, well, I went through a couple of years ago the process of trying to get all of them, and some of them just weren't even available on digital. So the fact that they're going to have all of them on there will be great. This does not tell me that much either. That sucks.
Maybe I won't have a pinball tournament that day, so I could actually be around for it.
Yeah.
And not just pass out halfway through Lion King.
Well, that's. I mean, how did you pass out? Lion King is the best.
Yeah, I was fucking drunk, Chris.
Absolute best. Yeah, no.
I had been drinking beer all day. And this was the last time besides the honeymoon that I had beer.
Oh, wow.
I had been drinking beer all day. And then I came home and I think I had some cocktails, not more beer. And so I pretty, I went into the bedroom and I was just out. And fucking woke up later and then I think there was very few people left.
Yeah. All right, I can't find any information about DuckTales. I'm very sorry. Let's talk about Game of Thrones instead. I mean, I know Game of Thrones is no DuckTales, but we could talk about Game of Thrones.
Okay.
It's been a long time, you were telling me. I don't believe you when you tell me how long it's been, because it doesn't... I know it's been...
I think it's been almost 2 years.
How? How has it been? It does not feel like it's been almost 2 years.
I guess they just were like, let's do this way. HBO was like,
no, I mean, I remember them saying we're going to take a while off. I don't know that they said how long. How long has Game of Thrones been off?
I don't even have it. Like I have this dumb. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's dog headache or seasonal allergies, but like my head is just killing me. So I don't have the energy to yell at you for typing loud today.
You all can yell at me via email.
Yes, hot@clarkwoods.com is the email address to send all your gripes and or well wishes.
Yeah, 2017. You are right. So the last episode aired August of 2017.
So
okay,
yeah.
So okay.
That's why I went. It was less than 2 years.
Yeah.
But not almost, or 4 months away. I mean,
yeah. So they've got some season 8 information up here.
Spoiler alert! No.
I mean, I don't think anybody knows anything. Just that the final episode is the one directed by Benioff and Weiss, the writer dudes.
The writer dudes.
But that
have been just basically writing George R.R. Martin's story for him at this point.
Well, it's funny. I watched was it from 60 Minutes? I don't know. It was on YouTube. Yes. Get a little bit of that at the beginning of every YouTube.
Don't you hate it when you're watching Game of Thrones and the guy who writes the books isn't... You're turning me down. The guy who writes the books isn't finished with them yet, but the television series is further along than the books that he's been writing.
Well, that was the subject of the...
you never noticed that Robert Jordan died halfway through his book series and everybody was all upset about it?
It wasn't halfway through.
Most of the way through his series.
Yeah. He had a lot left to write.
I noticed.
I wonder
why do people drink sports?
I don't think somebody could finish my series if I died.
You don't have an outline? Oslo is all upset that I was yelling. He's like, come over to the door.
No, I don't think I have a vague idea of what happens in the final book. But I don't have an outline. I should probably work on that because I am like the level of George R.R. Martin, aren't I?
You are not the old that he is.
No. But I am possessed of a lot of stress, and could kick the bucket at any moment now. Right here in the middle of the
Anybody could kick the bucket at any moment, Chris.
Okay. Well, I think my odds, if we were to go to Vegas, I think they'd say, all right, let's see his medical chart, let's hear his history, and I think my odds would be slightly better than yours.
Your odds of living or lots
my odds of dying?
Oh, okay.
My odds of just collapsing right here in the middle of the show.
Okay, well, you don't have a headache right now, so.
I don't. No. Although my ears are starting to ache because I have a hat on and then I have my headphones on top of my hat.
You know what you could do is you could take your hat off.
I know, but my hair's a mess.
It's just the two of us in this room.
I know, but I am self-conscious about these things. The other thing that I can do is just, have one.
I mean, Oslo's outside. He's going to start laughing like a hyena to make
do you have any cousins who are hyenas?
I don't know. Is that
have we said who Oslo is?
Oslo is a friend from work's dog. She and her husband are off in New York for a documentary that they're involved with. And so.
So I
will remain. I'll leave details out unless they want me to talk about it. And I don't know if they listen or not. So I'll find out maybe in a month or something, like when and if they stumble across this episode.
Yeah.
But Oslo is a Australian Shepherd, and he's a cute pup, and he's staying with us for the weekend.
It's a very, very cute pup. Do you have so it's a. Well, it's a long weekend for me. It's not a long weekend for everybody.
Well, yeah, we do have to work tomorrow, but we are working from home because our bosses are nice enough that
that you don't have to go into the city on Marathon Day.
Yeah, so folks in other parts of the country, the Boston Marathon is tomorrow, and they call it Marathon Monday.
Patriots Day.
Patriots Day as well.
Yeah.
It's typically a holiday for folks in the Boston, Cambridge area. It's not for our companies, but they have luckily let us work from home because it is fucked to get into the city.
It is. Between the marathon and then
there's also a Red Sox game at 11 a.m.
Yeah, and then if you have to drive through Lexington, Concord area, it's not as much of a thing, but they have Patriots Day reenactments because Patriots Day is the commemoration of the shot heard round the world, the beginning. It
was the start of the revolution.
Yes, the beginning of the American Revolution. Or if you're across the pond, what do they call it? The War for American Independence. I don't know. They don't like revolution, I think.
Okay, I doubt they like the Irish Revolution either.
I don't think they're colonizers. They don't like any kind of revolution.
The start of the revolution.
So Game of Thrones. Ooh, I went the wrong way. Game of Thrones. Are you excited? Are you not excited?
We have been rewatching. I think we're like somewhere in the earlier half of season 2 right now.
Okay.
So I think when the new episode starts getting closer, we might just switch to the episodes that happened right before.
Okay. Yeah.
The new one, and I was thinking about maybe having a cocktail tonight and watching it, but I think that's a very bad idea.
If you've already got a headache, and
if I've got a headache and I'm tired, I'm sort of tired. Like, it's been good to have the pup along, but like I don't know, I'm
it's a change.
I get nervous about I didn't want him to like we cleaned up pretty good as far as like stuff that he might like decide to chow on, but like we didn't want to, like I was worried that he might eat something and
yeah, no, it's even if it was a perfect weekend, it's a change in your life,
right?
And so it does for a properly adjusted fellow like yourself.
I would not say that I'm properly adjusted.
I'm saying if I had to dog sit, it would probably not go well. Not that I'm saying nobody should trust my family to dog sit their dog, but I don't think I could.
I wish he's a very good dog. He doesn't bark all that much. He's very food motivated, but a lot of dogs are, so it's not surprising. But what I wish is that when he decides to take a shit, that it's not on somebody's lawn, so we don't have to fucking pick it up.
Wait a minute, you always have to pick it up.
No, you don't always have to pick it up.
What?
Dude,
you pick up your dog's shit and you take it with you. That's what you do.
I'm sorry, Chris, but like, if it was like, if we were like, because we took him on the rail trail, if he shit on the rail trail itself, pick it up. If it's on the fucking peripheral, it's fucking staying there. Like the hundreds of other dog shits that were there that did not upset me at all. But if I'm like stomping around in the grass next to the fucking rail trail, and then I expect to step in dog shit.
Maybe your part of the rail trail, and actually I think we've determined that your rail trail and my rail trail are not going to ever be the same rail trail. But
it's not. They're not going to connect them.
I don't think so. I think your rail trail is a different rail trail. When I look at the notice for ours, it goes in a different direction. It never mentions the town that you live in.
I've said that I lived in Maynard.
Okay, yeah. So, at any rate, maybe it will connect, and I'm just full of beans, but I don't know.
Because yours goes into Acton.
It does go into
Acton, which is the town next to ours, but it does not connect
towards Concord.
So maybe there'll be a split at some point, because like, I'm gonna just have to like walk down that way further, because it goes by the train station, the Acton train station, but then like
so the trail that starts in Lowell that goes behind that goes near whatever, it goes near my house, it goes, when it gets into Acton, it turns, what would that be, west,
left
it turns left, and it heads towards Concord and towards the jail.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a perfect thing. You want to bike by
Well, it doesn't go that far, but it heads in that direction. And so then my understanding is that they have to build, the next thing they're going to have to do is build a bridge over Route 2.
To get the bike path to where
the next part of the bike path will be.
Which was over near me. I think. I mean, maybe. It doesn't make any sense for them to go like crazy out of their way, like because there's two parts in Acton, so connecting those two pieces, I think, would be.
I mean, I know that ultimately it's supposed to end up in Framingham.
It does. I mean, I think from here you can get to Framingham.
Yeah. At any rate, our part of the bike path gets so trafficked that you are very often over on the side because you have to get out of the way of the 3 people wide bike train on one side, the people and all of their family on the right side. You're just trying to walk, and then you've got some asshole on his bike going like 50 miles an hour. I know that's not possible, but that's what it seems like, who's saying, "On your left," in this really loud, angry voice, like the rest of you are in his fucking way. I hate cyclists.
I mean, I'm not a fan myself, especially like when I'm driving in the city.
Well, I was, as people may remember, almost a year ago. In a couple of weeks, I was run down in a crosswalk by a cyclist who wasn't paying attention to traffic signals. So
that's the part that, like, you know, anybody that's listened to this show for more than a couple of weeks would know that I am constantly annoyed by how like cyclists don't bother to obey traffic laws.
Yeah,
because they pretend to be a motorist and then they pretend to be a pedestrian when it's convenient.
Yeah.
And they just go blow through fucking red lights or whatever.
It's you are one or the fucking other. Pick. That's how I got hit. Is, you know, guy decided, oh, now I'm a pedestrian and I'm going to run right through the fucking anyway.
Well, I mean, a pedestrian, no pedestrian that values their life would go running through a red light.
At any rate, all I'm saying is that you should pick up the dog's shit, because every once in a while I have to step off onto the side, onto the grass, and if there's dog shit there,
just kick the fucking on your left guy over. Just be like, fuck you, and then like knock him into the dog shit.
Okay.
And then you could be double satisfied.
All right. I'd like to be double satisfied. I did not mean that in a sexual way. I had a really hard time yesterday where I had therapy on Friday.
I think being double satisfied is like eating a cookie with both your mouth and your butthole.
Okay. I thought you were going to say eating a cookie while taking a shit or getting a blowjob or I don't know. So the
sugar goes right into your butthole.
No, so I had therapy on Friday morning, and we talked about me actually making time to relax, and this is the thing that's come up a bunch, and so yesterday I made a concerted effort to be done with my work at noon, and then that turned into Stephanie needed help with the yard work, so but at the end of the day I did kind of relax, and it was excruciating. Like I was enjoying the relaxing to a certain extent, but I was also constantly thinking about what I could or should be doing.
So I think what you need to do more than relax is to learn how to relax.
How does one? I mean, I have been told smoking weed will do it.
You don't have to smoke weed. You can do edibles.
Okay, but I don't want to do that.
Why?
Because it's drugs. I don't.
Do you drink alcohol?
No, not really.
Have you ever drank alcohol, Chris?
Yes.
So, cut the shit.
Well, I don't want to do weed. Weed smells.
Like I said, just do edibles.
Okay.
You're not smoking, so you're not like putting things into your lungs. Just, eat a quarter of a fucking brownie.
Yeah.
Because you like treats anyways, right?
I do like treats.
And then you won't eat a fucking whole brownie, because if you ate a whole brownie, you'd be fucked.
Yeah. Maybe I'd be double satisfied.
Maybe.
That's the title. Double satisfied, I think.
You were searching for a while, weren't you?
Well, no, I just realized that's catchy enough. You know?
Okay.
So
kind of like the clap.
I don't know when to watch Game of Thrones because normally.
How did you change the subject?
Well, no, because that's what we were on. That's what we never wrapped. Well, we were on Game of Thrones, then we were talking about Oslo, and I think we got to wrap up the Game of Thrones.
No, but like you don't have to smoke weed, but just like I think this is probably something you need to do with your therapist. Is just like talk to them.
Smoke weed with my therapist?
No, I mean if that's something that it is available as a treatment option, then sure.
I feel like she would not be allowed to smoke weed at the same time as me. There would be some.
But she could supervise your high.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that could be I don't that does not seem out of the realm of possibility.
No, that seems like, it could be a thing where she'd say, well, as homework, I can't have you do it here in the office, but I want you to, consider having an edible before you come in, and then we'll see how that changes the session.
Yeah. So, well, actually, I that's doubtful because you'd have to drive or get unless you eat it right before you walk in there. So it wouldn't be advised. She probably wouldn't advise that.
Yeah.
She wouldn't advise you to get high and then get there.
I usually have to.
And
but
I think
the bike path goes right by my therapist's office as well.
Oh,
so
okay.
I could, if it was a nice enough day,
you could get high, walk there.
Get high.
You might get lost.
You might get lost. I don't know. I've never done it, so I don't know what the effect.
What I was going to say was like talking to her about like, if there's some sort of techniques to help kind of get your brain in the right frame of mind to learn that, it's okay to not be doing something.
Yeah. Except that there's so much that I want to do.
So much to do, so much to see. So what's wrong with taking the back streets?
You never know if you don't. I don't know. You never shine if you don't.
Donkey! I turned away too.
It's still fucking loud. I mean, I think it was just going to be, but like
I turned away and I backed up.
You did. You backed up off it. That's a line, right? Back up off it. That's a weed thing, right? When Snoop Dogg talks about it's backing off a bottle.
I have legit not smoked weed in over 10 years.
Because he says I had to back up off it. Or is that the cup of gin? I can't remember. You think Snoop Dogg watches Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's too many media savvy folk. I don't want to say too many people because there's plenty of people. My parents, I think, are among them that are just like, yeah.
My parents are not. They're not Game of Thrones people. My wife isn't. It's just me, and that's kind of why I don't know when or how to watch it, because it might be, she might want to, cuddle and be husband and wife after the kids go to bed. And so
I think
I'm not gonna...
today's an exception. It's like no cuddling, sweetie. This is Game of Thrones time.
Okay.
You got like this series that I've been invested in since 2011. Can I just please have like the next 2 months of Sundays to watch this fucking thing?
Well, I could ask for that.
I think that's a pretty reasonable ask.
Yeah. But I used to watch it in the mornings because I couldn't stay up late on Sunday.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. I might have to.
And that's the part I was trying to figure out.
But that's what the thing that's good is that I don't have to worry about getting up or like at my normal 5 a.m. But I'll probably will anyways.
Yeah.
But I can stay up a little bit later and not have to worry too much about
Have they said how long the episode is? I mean, I know they've said
normal season premieres have been like 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, and I know that all of this season are apparently, at least this was what was said in some interview.
Better fucking not be 3 hours.
No, but apparently it's 6 episodes and the season is, but they've got as many hours
Yoda
total.
Or a person speaking in Japanese.
What?
You spoke in a very
did I do
Yoda grammar.
Oh, okay. Did I?
Yeah.
No, that's not right. Anyway, 6 episodes. I have heard that they've got as many hours in that 6 episodes as they would have gotten in a 10-episode season. So what that figures into, are some of them just an hour? Are some of them an hour and a half, 2 hours? That is something I would like to know, because that would help me decide: am I going to stay up, or am I going to try to sneak it in tomorrow before we go on a road trip to Yankee Candle, I guess?
Oh no!
Yeah, we're gonna
bring your allergy. Like if you are sensitive to like smells, are you?
No, I like smells.
No, but like it's smell overload in there. You're going to the one like in like central Western Mass.
Yeah, something like that.
That like you're gonna have a fucking headache.
Okay.
Leaving that place.
I will let her know. She's been wanting to go for months.
Like, it's just imagine going to a Yankee Candle store,
right,
that is enormous and just has a million things to smell. And they have coffee there, coffee beans, to cleanse your nose palate.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That is very interesting.
I came out of that like feeling like shit.
Oh boy.
So if you have like allergy medicine, you spoke of it talking.
Well, I'll have to tell Stephanie that, because she has that worse allergies than I do.
So yeah, I mean, if there's anything in any of those fucking candles that's gonna set off an allergic reaction, then you might be better to just bring something just in case, so you're not like having whatever headache that I have right now because you've been smelling all afternoon. And not in the I didn't take a shower vein.
Do I smell? I don't smell, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's good. I didn't work out this morning. Sundays are a sleep in and not work out morning in our house, so I figured I did not smell that bad. Yesterday, worked out, sat in my own filth on a warm day in our essentially attic apartment, working on a computer, and then went out and did yard work. So by the end of the yard work, I was... Ugh.
Did you bathe at least?
I did. That's why I didn't feel... and that was later. That was like 3 or 4 o'clock yesterday, which is why I didn't feel so bad about not bathing.
See, I don't know. Like today. I mean, yesterday I waited till late as well to bathe because I'm like a post-poop bather.
Yes, this is. I sounded very excited about that. I did not.
Yes.
No, I was just. That is something that we have said here on the show.
But like a normal, like I don't like leaving the house unless this is just like I'm being gross day and the only thing that I'm going to do outside is to get some like takeout or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then I will. In those days, I think since Becky and I have been together, have been like I count on one hand.
Fewer and farther between.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, being stinky is not my favorite thing. I also have my skin is weird. People say, if you have sensitive skin, you should you need more of your oils or your whatever. No, I need to bathe regularly or I get itchy to the point of like drawing blood. Like I need my showers.
You just need a better soap or maybe a water softener.
Water softener. I don't know how that works, but yes, the water in our house is very, very hot.
Wicked hard, kid.
It's wicked hard there. Hotter than Rocco Siffredi,
Yeah, you just go, I think Culligan is the company that advertises online or on things that I've seen.
Okay. Does it go on your shower? Where does it
it goes near your water heater or whatever.
Oh, okay. So you have to, that's not going to happen because anything I do that touches anything that might cause my father stress, which is basically anything to do with the house, I'm just going to have to live with my hard water. Oh my God. As bad as I am about not being able to relax and having a short fuse and all of that, it's...
The apple doesn't fall far from the apple tree.
No, the apple does not fall far from the apple or from the windows.
Do you drop apples out the window?
No, I mean sometimes. Windows apparently for the 3D program that I use,
98.
Windows 90. Well, Windows is apparently the better option for the 3D program that I use because they're not having a fight with NVIDIA, which is a thing I was like, I don't need to learn about these new things. I just want to make cool, pretty
I just want to draw pictures of boob grabs.
I did. Why are you so obsessed with the boob grab? That was one picture.
There was an episode of One Piece this week that had a boob grab.
Is there anything wrong with a boob grab? If you like the person and they are okay with you grabbing their boob.
Well, I think that this was an unintentional boob grab.
Oh, okay. All right.
But not like the person. But the person that did the boob grab was shocked that they didn't realize they were even boob grabbing up until like a minute after the.
Were
boob
they
grab.
blindfolded or something?
No, it was just
okay.
They
just happened to accidentally grab a boob.
Yeah.
Accidental boob grab. Worst kind. You can find the show notes for this episode.
Oh, we done? We didn't even talk about Portland again.
Oh, well, yeah. We didn't talk about Portland. I don't know. At this point, it's going to be like the last parts of your trip to Ireland. It's like
we didn't even talk about any of the things.
Any of my trip to Portland. All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about it next time.
Talked about one thing. The fucking poet.
The poet who didn't know it. Yeah, we did.
It's the one thing that we talked about.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll talk. Oh, who art fucked, right? Is that what?
Yeah, the art fuck.
Yeah, the art fuck. Hey, you can find the show notes for this episode at clarkwoods.com/hot/232, and maybe next week on hot/233, we'll talk about Portland.
Okay.
Portland.
That sounds good.
Oregon.
You've died of fucking
a dysentery.
No.
No.
You've died of, like, being shitty. Cut that part out, please.